Recording in progress.
You're in? Okay. Good evening. I call to order this January 13th meeting of the Fairfield Plan and Zoning Commission. The first item we have is a closed executive session with our town attorney. I'm going to ask for a motion to go into closed session and invite Attorney Piers, as well as Assistant Director Mullen and Director Harrigan, who's joining remotely. Can I have a
Just add to the agenda that you're going to discuss the cases listed under, A through.
And to go, thank you. So the motion I hope you're looking for is to go into closed session to invite Attorney Piers, Ms. Harrigan, Mr. Mullen, and to discuss the list of items that are listed under B1 executive session.
Move that we proceed to executive session to meet with town council, Attorney Piers, along with planning director Harrigan, Mullen, and that's it. And the members of the commission to review litigation matters that are listed on the agenda as A through I.
Thank you. Can I have a second? Commissioner Monahan, seconds. Any questions before we go to vote? All right, all those in favor of the motion to go into executive session as stated by Commissioner Levy, please say aye. Motion carried unanimously. We will go into closed session.
Do you want us to stay or?
No, we can just go into the next.
Sorry about that. I didn't realize what time the meeting started.
We'll be back.
Hey, John,
Recording stopped.
can you just go ahead and mute the room as well?
Recording in progress.
Okay, the commission was just in closed executive session. No actions were taken, no votes were taken. Can I have a motion to re-enter administrative session? Commissioner Levy.
Re-enter administrative session.
Thank you. Can I have a second? Commissioner Randolph seconds. All those in favor of re-entering administrative session, raise your hand. Say aye.
Aye.
Kathy, Commissioner Braun.
Aye.
You, passes unanimously. So there was one item that was discussed during the executive session that does require a decision by the commission, which is a settlement of a prior application. Can I have a motion on that item, please? Commissioner Levy.
I move to authorize town attorney to enter into the stipulation as discussed in executive session in connection with the Garden Palms versus Fairfield CBC matter and settle that case.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Commissioner Kaposi seconds. Comments, Commissioner Levy.
As discussed in executive session, I think it's in the best interest of the town to resolve this matter, a longstanding matter, and that the proposed settlement is in the best interest of all of the taxpayers of Fairfield under the circumstances.
Thank you. Commissioner Kaposi, comments?
No further comments other than what Commissioner Levy articulated.
Other members of the commission have comments? I'll just add, I agree with Commissioner Levy and I think given the nature of the settlement, I also commend Attorney Pierce for his skilled negotiation on this. And I think the fact that the developer, the applicant in this case, is going to be required to use the abatement money for specific purposes like making these units available at affordable rents, I think is best case scenario given the circumstances. So thank you. Commissioner Monahan.
I'd like to add, it was one of the first 830G applications to make clear that this is not, something new that's currently kind of come along this board. This was from a prior board many years ago.
Thank you. That's correct. Anything else from the commission, or can we put this to a vote? All those in favor of the motion to approve the settlement as articulated by Commissioner Levy, please raise your hand or say aye. All those opposed?
Outstanding.
Abstaining. Okay, so the motion carries 6-0 with 1 abstention. Thank you, Attorney Pierce. Next is meeting minutes for December 2nd and December 2nd, 2025 and January 6th, 2026. Can I have a motion on these items? Commissioner Levy.
Yeah, I'd move to approve the January 6th minutes. As to the December 2nd, I'd move to postpone. I've drafted up what the actual motion was, which I think should be included in the minutes. But as Commissioner Braun isn't here, I'll need to email that to her. I do have hard copy of what the motion was, which I think should be included in the minutes, but that's for a later date after I've had the opportunity to review it with Commissioner Braun.
Thank you. So the motion is to approve January 6th and to postpone December 2nd to the next regular meeting. Do I have a second? Commissioner Kaposi seconds. Anything further? Commissioner Kaposi, comments?
No comments.
Commissioner Braun, I saw your hand up earlier. Do you have comments?
I wasn't sure what Commissioner Levy meant exactly by what's missing from the December 2nd. It looks like she added a lot of detail to this. Is there something missing that should be in there?
Yeah, the actual motion itself in this situation, which I've drafted up, and if you were here, I'd hand it to you, but I'll have to email it to you when we can.
Okay. No objection.
Okay. Any other comments? All those in favor of the motion to approve the January 6th minutes and postpone decision on the December minutes to the next meeting, say aye or raise your hand. Thank you. Motion passes unanimously. Next is a discussion of commission bylaws and the creation of a subcommittee. It's come up a couple of times. The fact that this commission, unlike some other commissions, does not have formal bylaws. And suggestion has been made to consider developing and developing bylaws that could come before the commission for consideration. So my proposal is to create a committee that could develop these bylaws without taking up the regularly scheduled meeting time to physically come up with those, and then those can be come back before the commission when the committee deems they are ready for review, and we can have discussion, public hearing, and vote on those at that time. So my proposal would be to name a subcommittee, or rather a committee for the creation of bylaws to be chaired by Commissioner Randolph and to include Commissioner Braun and Commissioner Levy, with the chair sitting as an ex officio member, which would exist until the conclusion and vote on any product produced by that committee. Any Commissioner Randolph?
I endorse this, the formation of this committee. I know that when I came in as a commissioner 2 years ago, there was not any guidance on our roles and responsibilities on the way the commission should be conducted. I think establishing bylaws would clarify that for not only existing commissioners, but new commissioners. And hopefully gain a little bit more efficiency in the way that we operate with our presenters. Mr. Green, our presenters would be covered under that as well as commissioners. So.
Any other comments? I don't think this is something that requires a vote, but welcome any other comments or questions. Commissioner Braun, please.
Yeah, I don't so much object to forming a subcommittee to study the possibility of bylaws. I personally don't think we need bylaws. I know a year ago, there was an effort to pass rules to restrict questioning and things like that. I hope that's not what this committee will be about. But if there is going to be a committee, yes, I would like to be on the committee, and I appreciate your confidence that I could do that. I do think we need to move forward and immediately figure out what we're doing about studying the housing law and the climate change law. I don't know if we have a commitment. I know we've spoken offline a little bit about this, but we need a commitment right away, and maybe a subcommittee like the chairman informed me would be too time consuming, and I agree. So can we get a commitment now that we will have the town attorney give us a primer or work with us immediately to figure out what our rights, obligations, responsibilities, options are for the housing law?
Just to clarify the difference, I don't think it's too time consuming to have a committee on the laws, but rather that's a matter that should be discussed certainly by the whole committee. I don't think relative to the bylaws, this is an exploratory process and the committee will draft and put them before the full commission for consideration. I don't think the formation of a committee obligates any action by the commission. That'll come before us for consideration at the right time. I will not commit to the attorney coming to us on a particular date. I think having a town attorney come before us to present makes sense. I think it also makes sense to get further guidance and some sort of presentation from staff, and whether those happen concurrently, whether one happens before the other. I think we have weeks until the next planning meeting. We can continue to have those conversations. We'll certainly have a presentation and a discussion of the law specifically and our obligations under those. I suspect probably several meetings on specific elements of the law.
Right.
Commissioner Monahan.
I disagree on that process. I learned this week that the state currently has a federal grant to do more in-depth studies of 18 train stations, including 2 of our 3 train stations, Ash Creek and Umpqua Road. We're on the list of the Department of Transportation's top 18 transit-oriented development projects. So I've asked Emmeline to provide any information that she has on this. What are they studying? What is the grant for? And what information she has on that. So if we are creating some sort of framework to protect ourselves against the town, and against against the state statute, I want to know, and I'm sure a lot of people in town want to know, what we can do to establish the 8% over two transit-oriented developments that we can protect ourselves for further development. So I don't think it's unfair to say that we would like legal counsel as to what our rights are as a town to protect ourselves. The by right conversion of commercial to residential at a time when taxpayers in this town are being saddled with more tax increases due to the shift. We need to learn how we can get ahead of this. So it's a few months away and we have no legal guidance. And I understand that the town is meeting with the state and the Department of Transportation and has met with them and provided information, and they are meeting with the town. Why do we not have that information? So I've asked for it, and I understand, again, you probably may not need it. You may be involved in the discussions, but I think all of that needs to be above board out in the public forum.
I think I just indicated to Commissioner Braun that we'll have that. I'm not prepared to commit to a date on the calendar for when specific presentations are going to be
It
made.
needs to be before the next meeting.
I'm not going to commit to that, Commissioner Randolph.
I'm just following some of the rules that we, or can I move to the previous question? Because the question is not about 8002. The question is about bylaws. And I don't feel like we came to a conclusion on the bylaw question. So can we, I think there's some question over whether we should have bylaws by one of the people, by Commissioner Braun, who's on here. So
I think Commissioner Braun indicated she didn't object to it. She has her hand up so she could speak in a moment. So unless there's an objection, a formal objection to creating them, I don't think there's a need to
I
move.
have a formal objection to doing that presently without doing other things first.
Okay, thank you. So we will move that to a vote. All those in favor of the motion, I guess, is there?
I move.
Commissioner, hang on, I'm sorry. Let me get to Commissioner Braun. Commissioner Braun, go ahead.
Yeah, so there's also another question that we need updates on, and that is the towns electing by the RTM to join the CMDA, which is a
Let me-
redevelopment authority.
Commissioner Braun,
When are
question-
we-
Commissioner
I
Braun,
need
let
to
me
know
just
if we're working.
interrupt you
I need
because
to, yeah.
There's one thing at a time because there's an objection to the formation of a committee, so we need to address that first. So Commissioner, I'll come right back to that. Commissioner Randolph.
I don't think it's the priority.
I'm sorry. So am I moving to form the committee?
If that's what you,
I'd like to move to form the bylaws committee
with membership as.
with
previously
membership,
stated.
as previously stated.
Is there a second? So Commissioner Levy seconds. Anything further? Commissioner Randolph, anything further?
No.
Nothing further.
Commissioner Braun.
Okay, so I do agree that we have more pressing priorities than the bylaws committee. I do think if this town is engaging with the state, the federal, other towns, whoever, and major projects, I think this commission needs to know about it as it's happening. If we're doing information exchange with the state of Connecticut to study our train stations to see if they could be redeveloped into something we're not aware of, we need to be on top of that, as well as the town RTM just voted to join this municipal redevelopment authority. And that was 6 months ago. The next step was for the first select person to set the zoning regulations and the zoning district for the housing accelerator zone. I'd like to question Director Harrigan if we are involved in that also, because I was unaware of us being involved in information exchange on a transit-oriented study that the DOT is doing. And I would like to know if we are also exchanging information or providing information on setting a zone for the CMDA program that the town has elected to join. Can we, I think we need that committee first, because that is the substance of what our commission does. Our bylaws, we're already following Robert's rules. And we've been following it for decades. So the bylaws to me should take a back seat to any substantive stuff that our commission could be involved in. And information exchange or project management that involves what our commission does, we need to be aware of it. And that would be a more priority subcommittee, I believe.
Any
So
other
can I
thoughts?
ask, Ms. Harrigan, if we are involved in the CMDA at all with the first select person's office? I don't know if anything's been done.
I don't know. It's Ms. Harrigan.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Ms. Harrigan.
I would recommend, given the volume of items that we have on this agenda, that we stick to the agenda.
Well, can I have an answer to my question?
We can handle, we can have this conversation with the
It's a
commission
simple answer.
as an
It's a sim-
agenda item at a future meeting. This
Um,
is not, this is
Commissioner-
not on the
Commissioner Brunt.
agenda.
Commissioner
I'm a
Brunt,
commissioner asking a question. I'd like
I
an
know,
answer.
but
Very
Commissioner
simple.
Brunt, Commissioner Brunt, there is a motion on the table.
This is
and-
discussion over whether we should have a different subcommittee and the doings of our staff that reports to us. And I would like to know if our staff is actually conducting business on our behalf that we're not aware of. I'd like to know about it. It's a very simple question, a very simple answer. Take 1 second.
I don't think this is germane to the question that's on the table, which is.
So we're not going to get our answer.
It's improper to have a discussion about a matter that's not on the agenda, which has been publicly noticed.
It's discussion over whether we should form a subcommittee discussing how we conduct our business when we have actual business to discuss. That should be on the
That's a
agenda.
fine, that's a fair opinion that.
And you as
think-
secretary have approval over the agenda, correct?
Yes, and I've been requesting repeatedly that we have the town attorney in and that we have a report back by staff so we know what the doings are on our behalf. And I don't get the agenda. It shows up and have no involvement and no one listens to what I say. So I believe I'm gonna have to make a motion that we have the agenda for next time. So I'm gonna make a motion to amend the
There's
motion
one-
to form a subcommittee, that we form a different subcommittee to study everything that is being done on behalf of this commission regarding the town and the state and the federal. Can I have a second?
There's a motion on the table.
A motion to amend the motion that's there to form a subcommittee, to form a different subcommittee to study what we're doing, to understand what is being done on our behalf.
You could amend the
Substantively.
motion that's on the table. You cannot amend the motion on the table to materially, to essentially change the entire substance of the motion.
It's not.
Yes, she is.
Then
She,
I would amend, I would make a motion to amend the subcommittee to expand, to include a discussion of activities that our staff is engaged in on our behalf with the state and other towns and other town bodies.
okay, and Commissioner Monahan seconds. Second. Okay, all those in favor of the motion to amend the underlying motion to create a committee to develop bylaws to expand the purpose to study to include the actions the town staff, plan and zoning staff is conducting on behalf of the commission. Is that accurate?
Yes,
Commissioner Brunt? All those in favor, say aye or raise your hand. All those opposed, say aye or raise your hand. The motion fails 5-2. Any further discussion on the underlying motion?
Figures.
All those in favor of the motion to form a committee to develop bylaws, raise your hand or say aye. All those opposed, raise your hand or say aye. The motion carries 5-2. Next is 161 Hillside Avenue, request by the Nest at Greenfield Hill, Inc. for return of 100% of performance bond, amount of $121,987.50, of which 50 cents was provided in a residence AAA zone. Again, just given the volume of items, I'm not going to have staff read comments, but can get a motion on the table, and then if there are questions, we can address those. Do I have a motion on the item? Commissioner Randolph.
Motion to approve.
Commissioner Randolph moves to approve. Do I have a second? Commissioner Levy seconds. Commissioner Randolph.
Glad to see the Nest is progressing. Just one question for the staff. The performance bond, what's that related to specifically?
Performance bonds are related to public improvements, on-site detention, in this particular case, installation of a sidewalk, the landscaping that's installed, including any street trees, and they have installed those items to the satisfaction of the engineering department.
Thank you.
Commissioner Levy,
Nothing further.
any questions, comments from the commission?
It's a nice building, looks great. It's a great addition to the neighborhood.
Thank you. Anything further? We still vote? All those in favor of the motion to approve the release of the bond, raise your hand or say aye. Motion passes unanimously. Next item is 361 and 377 Riverside Drive and 824 review for lot line revision to donate a portion of property to the town of Fairfield in a Residence A zone. Do you have a motion on the table? Commissioner Levy.
Move to approve.
Thank you. Commissioner Levy moves to approve. Do I have a second? Commissioner Randolph seconds. Commissioner Levy.
As I basically understand it, that a portion of the property which abuts the Ash Creek would be donated to the town. It would serve the purpose for the town to get in control over an environmentally sensitive area. And meanwhile, the homeowner would be relieved of the tax burden associated with that parcel, which cannot be feasibly developed.
Thank you, Commissioner Randolph.
Nothing further.
Any other comments? Commissioner Braun.
Yes, I'm completely in favor of this. I note that Tim Bishop, the Conservation Director, is very happy. I guess they've been trying to get a hold of this little peninsula that sticks out into the tidal wetland area behind the Circle Hotel. We obviously need all the wetlands we can get. So this is a way of permanently preserving them and putting them under town authority. And I know that Director Bishop does like to have town ownership as opposed to just an easement, because the town can, do a better job protecting it. So this is a fantastic thought, and I hope we can do more of it.
Thank you. Other
Mr. Chair,
comments? Yes,
if I
Director.
could just respectfully request for Commissioner Levy for the 8-24, it's a to provide a positive referral to the Board of Selectmen.
Amend the motion to be that we refer this matter positively to the Board of Selectmen for their action.
Good by you, Commissioner Randolph. Okay. Any additional comments or questions? Okay, all those in favor of the motion to refer the matter positively to the Board of Selectmen, please raise your hand or say aye. Thank you. Thank you. Motion passes unanimously. Next item is an application to recommend to public hearing 90 and 154 John Street, a special exception application of Gary and Lisa Givens. 90 John Street LLC to construct an auto parts repair facility in the design commercial district zone. Do I have a motion? Commissioner Levy.
Move to public hearing, it's required.
Thank you. Commissioner Randolph, seconds.
Second, no other comments.
Any other questions, comments? All right. All those in favor of the motion to recommend to public hearing, please raise your hand or say aye. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Next is a compliance review, 87 Post Road, a compliance application of Ash Creek Properties LLC to establish a 400 square foot outdoor dining area for the Roppongi Restaurant in a design commercial district zone. Can I have a motion, please? Commissioner Randolph.
I move to, this isn't recommended for public hearing.
No, this is a compliance application.
Okay, I move to approve.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Commissioner Levy, seconds, comments?
It's good to see this building renovated. I've eaten there already. It's a nice restaurant. I think the outdoor seating area will further enhance its viability as a business.
Commissioner Levy.
And it's consistent with our regulations.
Other comments or questions?
We're on the corner
Commissioner,
from Roppongi. I think they've been a great addition to the neighborhood, and I'm excited to see the renovations they make.
Thank you. I agree. I just stayed there, not realizing that the application was coming before us. So I think it's a great addition as well. Okay, let's put this to a vote. All those in favor of the motion to approve the compliance application. Commissioner Braun, did you have a question or are you
Oh,
voting?
no, I'm,
All those in favor of the motion to approve the compliance application, please raise your hand or say aye. Thank you. Motion passes unanimously. Next is a compliance application for 3449 Post Road, compliance application of Splinter Construction on behalf of Beverly, Macno, and Melissa Key to convert a portion of the building used as part of a retail storage to a medical office in a design commercial district zone. Can I please have a motion on the item? Commissioner Levy.
Approve.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Commissioner Capozzi. Seconds. Comments?
Yeah, I think we can use a neurologist more than a Verizon storage area, so it meets our regulations.
Thank you, Commissioner Capozzi.
I agree with Commissioner Levy.
Any other comments or questions? Commissioner Monahan?
I agree about the addition of the neurology office, and also I'm happy that they have an appropriate number of parking spots on site for the plaza to support it.
Thank you. Other comments? Okay, let's put this to a vote. All those in favor of the motion to approve the compliance application for 3449 Post Road, please raise your hand or say aye. Motion passes unanimously. Our last compliance application is for 869 Post Road, a compliance application of Post Benson Corporation to convert a portion of a multi-tenant building used as a crafts classroom to a cafe bakery with 700 square feet of patron seating area. I think there's something missing from the end of that with the request of, there's a blank there.
I think I meant to put the business name. My apologies.
Got it, no problem. In a design commercial district zone. Can I please have a motion on the item? Commissioner Randolph.
I move that we approve this compliance application.
Commissioner Randolph moves to approve. Do I have a second? Commissioner Capozzi seconds. Commissioner Randolph.
Looks like a consistent use with the strip center. Good to see these storefronts filled, and can always use another cafe and bakery.
Commissioner Capozzi.
I agree. I think cafe bakeries provide, opportunity for community gathering and people being in public spaces, which I think is lacking, and I think it's great.
Thank you. Other comments or questions?
I've just noticed
Commissioner
that's where Bob's Shopping Plaza is, right? Yeah.
Correct. Yep.
There's an empty storefront there. It's really nice to have it filled, and be nice to have a cafe there. That's great.
Thank you. Okay, let's put this to a vote. All those in favor of the motion to approve the application, raise your hand or say aye. Thank you. Motion passes unanimously. Next are coastal site plan reviews. First is for 389 and 409 Quincy Street. Coastal site plan application of Habitat for Humanity on behalf of the town of Fairfield to demolish 2 single-family residences and construct 2 FEMA-compliant duplexes in a Residence B zone. Mr. Bullock.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the commission. My name is Jonathan Mullen, Assistant Planning Director for the Town of Fairfield. I'm just going to share the screen here so I can get the site plan up. All right. Oh, I'm sorry, this is for the wrong one. Okay. All right, so again, apologize for the delay. I'm going to read These are essentially the same structure, just two parcels away. So I'm going to read the report for them both as opposed to reading two separate site plans. They're essentially the same. So this is proposal for a coastal site plan, coastal area management plan for 409 Quincy Street and 385 Quincy Street. The subject parcel is located at 385 and 409 Quincy Street in the Residence B zoning district. The town of Fairfield owns this parcel and has entered into a development and long-term management agreement with Habitat for Humanity. The parcel is 409 Quincy Street is 9,333 square feet, and 385 Quincy Street is 9,354 square feet. And they're located on the south side of Quincy Street. They're both bounded by parcels, residential parcels on all sides, and each contain a single-story family, non-elevated, a non-FEMA compliant home. Both of them have 10-foot asphalt driveways and walkways and associated walkways. There's also on 409 Quincy Street, there's a 10-foot, 8-foot wide by 10-foot shed in the back. And also there's also another shed on 385 Quincy Street. And both properties are approximately 630 feet from a largely tidally influenced wetland system and just over a half mile from Long Island Sound. The current proposal calls for the demolition of all existing structures on both parcels and constructions of two new two-story, two-unit buildings with elevated FEMA compliant foundations. Access to the sites will be through 10-foot curb cuts on the northeast and northwest corners of the property. And the units will be oriented side by side, slightly offset with the faces north, the fronts facing north. The ground floor of the structure is proposed to be partially enclosed, non-livable, floodable space to be used as parking and storage for each unit. There will be a non-enclosed stairway in the parking garage and in the parking and storage area to provide access to the first floor of the structures. There will be each will have a 9-square-foot conditioned closet that will house the water and sewer risers for each unit. The closets will have flood vents and will be installed on opposite walls in compliance with FEMA and town Fairfield regulations. The first floor of each unit will have a 5-foot deep by 16-foot wide covered front porch and an 8-foot deep by 11-foot wide wooden deck in the rear. The entire site both sites are located in the AE11 zone, which requires 1 foot of extra compliance known as freeboard. The applicant proposes subsurface stormwater infiltration systems for the roof and driveway runoff for each of the unit, consisting of 4-inch perforated pipe set in crushed stone to be located on the east and west sides of the properties. The proposed structures will have public water, sewer, gas, and electric, all access from Quincy Street. Soil erosion and sediment controls are required for the development of the parcel to limit any construction-related impacts to the adjacent roadway. Plans show perimeter silt fencing and silt fencing around the construction stockpile, which are located on 385 Quincy Street at the northeast corner and at 409 at the southeast corner. There will also be an anti-tracking pad, and erosion protection and sediment control shall be maintained on the project site until the site construction is complete. These measures should adequately protect any adjacent coastal resources. The CTDEP Land and Water Resources Division comments were received on June 25th, and proposed conditions are included below. Those conditions are: 1, that the architectural plans will be conformance to all FEMA standards and flood zone and Fairfield's flood zone protection regulations, and 2, soil erosion and sediment control shall be installed and maintained during the entirety of the construction project at the subject site. And those are conditions for both of the properties.
Mr. Chair, I also wanted to add that as this is a town project, our Economic Development Director, Mark Barnhart, is joining us remotely, as well as some of the representatives from Habitat for Humanity. If you did have any additional questions, it's unusual for a CAM to defer to the applicant, but since the town is the applicant, they're both online if anybody has any questions.
Ms. Harrigan. Questions from the commission? Commissioner Levy.
Yeah, it's not really relevant to the site plan, but in terms of the properties, I assume that those will be affordable housing. Then my question is, who would be handling that? Would that be handled in perpetuity by Habitat or by the town?
I'm going to ask Mr. Barnhart to the Economic Development Director to speak to that.
Sure. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, Mark Barnhart, Director of Community Economic Development. The commission may recall that this is part of the Parkview Commons Affordable Housing Development, formerly known as the Navy or Military Housing Site that the town acquired some years ago. These properties are all contain restrictive covenants limiting resale to preserve them as affordable housing. This came before the commission as part of an 824 review when we were considering leasing the property, ground leasing it to Habitat for Humanity, which was our chosen developer, redeveloper of this site. The intent here is to not only preserve the existing affordable housing, but also to modestly add to our inventory by creating two duplex units here. So 4 units instead of the existing 2 single-family homes, while at the same time addressing the FEMA flood compliance issues that have become very evident post Superstorm Sandy. So in response to Commissioner Levy's question, the town does have restrictive covenants in place and will be working with Habitat to ensure their compliance in perpetuity. And so that really hasn't changed.
Thank you. Other questions? Commissioner Randolph.
Thank you for presenting this. I'm just looking at the DEP's letter from June 25th. With the standard language in here saying that this project will knowingly put people in harm's way and add exposure in light of already developed nature of the surrounding area. There's a couple of other warnings in this letter of a similar nature. Thoughts or, an open-ended question.
Well, how do we seeing that a lot? In answer to your, thank you for the question. We will be seeing that as a standard response regardless of if we go up 1 bedroom or if we have a large development. It's advisory, and our regulations do allow for multifamily. So, and in this zone, so, until we change that, this is a permitted use in the zone.
If I may, we're certainly cognizant of the DEP's concerns, but we're trying to strike a balance here in terms of not only preserving the existing affordable homeownership housing, but to provide for some modest expansion of it, consistent with our regs. We believe that this development is appropriately sized. We didn't have flooding of the area during Superstorm Sandy, but the homes themselves didn't suffer any significant damage. And we think that long-term, this is a way by which we can preserve affordable housing in this particular area of town, while still, making sure that they're flood compliant.
Okay. Can I have a motion on the item?
I have a question,
Go ahead, Commissioner Braun.
I guess for Mr. Barnhart. Thank you for that. From an aerial, so the middle house is being demolished and then 2 duplexes are being replaced or replacing it?
No.
I see a
Our
middle house.
plan is to reacquire property. All these properties, as mentioned, have restrictive covenants in place that give the town the right of first refusal to repurchase the properties if they become available. Both 385 and 409 that are the focus of this redevelopment efforts were acquired some years ago by the town for this
Okay.
purpose. And so the property in between is actually an existing single-family home that will continue to remain that way.
So the 2 single-family homes will become duplexes each. How many bedrooms will be added? Bedrooms are there being added to it?
Memory serves, these are, John, I don't have the site plan or the proposal in front of me, but I think there are 3 or 4 bedroom units that we're putting in place. The existing single-family homes are 3-bedroom, 1 bath.
Okay.
And we're proposing to replace them with 2 units that are comparably sized.
Okay. So it'll be sort of double the amount of people, but when you're starting with 3, you're only ending up with 6 then for each site, right?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Commissioner Levy?
Yeah, I was gonna make a motion.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'd move to approve the coastal plan.
Thank you.
There's 2 coastal, so we're gonna do both at the
Oh,
same
yeah,
time.
do both of them.
I actually have a question. So, elevations change of homes over time and sometimes they no longer become FEMA, they're no longer FEMA compliant. Do we anticipate the height requirement changing and should these homes be built a little bit higher so that in the future they are going to be also FEMA compliant, given they will require flood insurance that I assume we want to maintain as low as possible?
I will, the flood zone regulations are, what they are. I know that we,
I believe the finished floors on these are like elevation 14, right, John? They're higher because they're doing the garage under.
Okay.
Correct.
these are certainly very, that a car plus, and then there's a full stairway from the parking area up to the first floor, so.
Yeah, but these are well above BFE +1.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so Commissioner Levy moved to approve the site plan application for both. Is there a second? Commissioner Monahan, Commissioner Levy.
Yeah, I'm very familiar with these properties as I live a few hundred yards away. And I must say that replacing the existing ranch houses, which date from post-war with FEMA compliant homes and duplexes will be a vast improvement that provides additional housing, affordable housing in an area which is subject to restrictive covenants. In terms of the environmental impact, again, I'm very familiar with the area. There would be, as noted in the reports, there would be no adverse impact either on the marsh, which is on the other side of Vera's, or the, coastal area. And I think having FEMA compliant residents, particularly in this neighborhood, is a benefit to all.
Thank you, Commissioner Monahan.
I think it's a great use, obviously, to double the amount of housing. I think aesthetically, in the meantime, until the entire development, looks consistent, it may not be as pleasing as some may want, but I think the benefits outweigh the cons.
Thank you. Other comments? Okay, I agree and just appreciate that Habitat is going to get to continue to expand on what they've already built in the community. So encouraging to see. Okay, let's put this to vote. All those in favor of the motion to approve the coastal site plan application for the 2 projects, please raise their hand and say aye. Commissioner Monahan, you're a yes, I'm assuming. Okay, motion passes unanimously. Next is 253 Riverside Drive coastal site plan application of Harlan and Catherine Homes to add a 2nd floor addition on a parcel that contains tidal marshland, a residence A zone. Mr. Mullen.
Okay. Okay, good evening, members of the board. My name is Jonathan Mullen, Assistant Planning Director, Town of Fairfield. For you is a coastal site plan review for 253 Riverside Drive. Just to give a little background on this, is something that the new law, SB 9, has affected in that this would be something that may not have come to you in the past, but because of the change in everything that's in a flood zone now in the coastal area management area will now come to the Town Planning and Zoning Commission for review. The subject parcel is located at 253 Riverside Drive in the Residence A zoning district. Parcel is 9,192 square feet as measured to the mean high water line and is located on the east side of Riverside Drive. It's bounded on all 4 sides on the north, south, and west sides by residential, and by the property borders title marshlands owned by and maintained by the town of Fairfield as open space to the east. The area contains a portion of Ash Creek, making the subject parcel a waterfront site. The lot slopes west from Riverside down to Ash Creek. There's a significant grade change east of the existing structure from elevation 10 downward to the mean high water line of elevation of 4.7. The grade change runs parallel to the structure from northeast to southwest and is marked by a row of boulders. The area west of the boulders is maintained lawn area, while the area to the east is undeveloped, and there's a stone masonry retaining wall along the northern property line that extends east from the rear yard beyond the rear property line. The parcel contains a two-story raised ranch style, non-elevated single-family structure with an attached garage. It's slab on grade, and there's flood vents, so there's proposed to be flood vents for it, so it is going to be FEMA compliant, even though it is not raised. There's a 31-foot wide paved driveway that leads from Riverside Drive to the northwest corner of the site to the garage. And there are paved pathways leading from the northeast corner of the driveway to a set of stairs that accesses existing elevated second floor deck. And underneath that is a block patio. The current proposal is for the construction of a residential addition over the existing upper floor of the residence. The addition will increase the height of the building to 2.5 stories. The building footprint will remain the same, so there'll be no increase in impervious surface on the lot. The applicant has also performed substantial improvement calculation that has been reviewed by planning staff, showing that the cost of the house of the addition will not exceed 50% threshold to require the house to be fully FEMA compliant. The applicant proposes a new subsurface drainage system with 582 cubic feet of capacity that will increase the stormwater management capacity of the site, where there currently is no drainage. The site is designed to detain the first inch of stormwater runoff size to ensure the post-development runoff rate does not exceed existing conditions. The proposed stormwater management system is set to be located at the northwest corner of the site, and it is set to be located no closer than 8 feet to the row of boulders. The planning department has recommended and discussed with the applicant as a condition of approval that the stormwater management system be relocated. And all the associated soil erosion and sediment controls be installed in the side yard along the northern end of the property. So currently, you can see my arrow, the system is proposed to be located at the eastern side of the property in the rear yard near the contour drop off. We're recommending that it be moved up to this gravel area to move it away from the coastal resource to provide an added layer of protection. The soil erosion and sediment controls are required for the development of the parcel to limit any construction-related impacts to adjacent roadways and on-site and adjacent coastal resources. The plan shows silt fencing along the grade change and silt fencing around the surrounding construction stockpile area located in the northeast corner of the site. Access to the site will be through an existing driveway. Erosion protection and sediment control shall be maintained on the project site until the site construction is completed. And even though staff is recommending that stormwater management system is relocated to the side yard of the property, we are recommending that the applicant maintain the silt fence along the row of boulders shown on the plan to provide an added layer of protection to the coastal resource. These measures, if installed properly and maintained during construction, should adequately protect all adjacent coastal resources. The DEEP Land Water Resources Division comments were received on December 23rd, 2025, and the proposed conditions are included below. With the addition, while the addition itself will not affect the coastal resource, installation of a drainage system could affect coastal resource if proper erosion and sedimentation controls are not installed and maintained throughout the project. So staff recommends approval of the CAM site plan with the following conditions. One, that the subsurface stormwater management system is moved to the side yard adjacent to the northern property line. Two, the soil erosion and sediment controls included on the site plan shall be installed and maintained during the entirety of the construction project at the subject site. And three, the silt fence along the grade change of the property is maintained throughout construction. And if that concludes my presentation, I'd be happy to.
Thank you. Questions? Commissioner Monahan?
What is the gravel area currently used for to the left-hand side of the house?
There was a tree there and they removed it. And now I believe it's just, it's a gravel area off the edge of the driveway that is, believe there looks to be a storage bin of some sort next to it.
So the driveway's on that side of the house.
The driveway is here. And it goes, has a little bit of a pull off to here and leads down to a walkway. The gravel area comes off in this dotted line like that.
You have them remove the gravel area.
Yeah, they're gonna move everything to, and they're gonna all fit it all in here. I spoke with the installer today. And he thought he suggested moving it there. Because we had originally wanted to move it to the front, to move it far away from the coastal resource. However, there's a tree there and we didn't want to kill the tree or have them remove it. So, an alternative was to move it over to the north side of the property where we could save the tree and protect the coastal resource a little better.
Commissioner Levy?
Yeah, if memory serves, there's a significant grade
Yes.
between the house and the coastal resource. You know, approximately the change in elevation.
About 5 feet. So it goes from about 10 feet. You can see my cursor, there's about a 10-foot contour line here. And it goes down to the CJL and the mean high water, which is 5.2 and 4.7 respectively. So it's somewhere between 5 and 6 feet grade change.
And then the house is also significantly higher at that
Yes.
point. Thank you.
Commissioner Braun, I can't see you. Do you have any
Yeah,
questions?
so I just wanted to point out, so the DEP is supporting this because there's no increase of impervious surface and they're adding stormwater management that isn't there now. So that's a good thing. It's an observation I wanted to make.
Thank you. Other questions? Can I have a motion on the item? Commissioner Levy?
Move to approve with the conditions.
Commissioner Levy moves to approve. Commissioner Braun seconds?
Yeah.
Thank you. Comments?
Yeah, Commissioner Braun just mentioned, I think this, with the, stormwater controls is an improvement and it will have no adverse impact on the coastal site as long as they maintain the erosion and soil control during the construction.
Thank you. Commissioner Braun?
Yes, I support this project. It's it's staying within the footprint and it's an improvement. So
Thank
I'm
you.
in favor.
Thanks. Other comments? All right, let's put this to a vote. All those in favor of the motion to approve the application, raise your hand or say aye. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Mr. Mullen. Moving on to old business. First, we have 1643 Post Road, special permit application of Sikorsky Financial Credit Union for exterior renovation and associated site reconfiguration of an existing building and bank use in a center design business district zone. I have a motion on this item, please.
I'm off speed, so.
Yeah, thank you. Commissioner Capozzi.
Motion to approve.
Capozzi moves to approve. Can I have a second? Commissioner Delgado, seconds. Commissioner Capozzi, comments?
I like this project. I think it's a nice facelift on a sort of a relic of a building. And I think that they've thought through traffic flow and parking really well, and it improves the footprint and the building itself. So I hope to approve it.
Thank you. Commissioner Delgado?
Similarly, I think it's a market improvement of the building. I was eating dinner at a restaurant across the street last week, and I was kind of thinking about what it will look like in the future. I think it's, definitely a massive improvement of the building that's there.
Thank you. Other comments? Commissioner Levy?
Just whether we want to add to the motion, the request of staff that clarification be provided in the blue logo feature shown on the parapet, both in the front and the rear, be incorporated into the signage text.
Commissioner Capozzi, you good with that?
Yeah.
Commissioner Delgado?
Yes.
All those in favor of the motion to approve the application with the conditions outlined by staff, please raise your hand or say aye. Motion passes unanimously. Next item is a zoning regulation amendment. Actually, I'll call the next two items together. Zoning regulation amendment, subsection 8H modification and application of Primrose Development LLC, contract purchaser for revision to the zoning regulations to add section 42 Blackrock Affordable District to allow the construction of an affordable 184-unit multifamily housing development pursuant to Section 830G of the Connecticut General Statutes in a residential AAA zone, and 4221, 4267 Blackrock Turnpike, subsection 8H modification application of Primrose Development LLC contract purchaser to rezone the parcels located at 4221 and 4267 Blackrock Turnpike to the Blackrock Affordable Housing Zone on land presently zoned as residential AAA pursuant to Section 830G of the Connecticut General Statutes. And Commissioner Randolph, you're fully up to speed.
Yes.
Thank you. Can I have a motion on the two items, Commissioner Randolph?
I move to deny without prejudice.
Any conditions? to-
Yes,
Or-
so the conditions, I've got it all written out here. But let's see here, where do I start? So the,
I don't think you need to read the findings, but I guess you can explain that when we come back to you for comments, but if there are any
yeah, so.
specific guidance.
Yeah,
attached
so
to
the
that.
specific guidance, I've got it in writing here. Copy, Mr. Green.
Please.
Do I address you as Mr. Green or Attorney Green?
Either way.
Attorney Green. So,
Thank you.
let me just see here. Let me give everybody a minute to read what I've got here. All right,
Mr. Chair, do you want a second first before?
Yeah,
Commissioner
I guess
Randolph
since
goes?
there's no real, they're not conditions per se, so I guess
No.
we don't need so much of a reading condition. So do I have a
Someone
second?
email that? I don't think I have that. Could someone email it possibly so I could take a quick look?
So
I'll
that's-
scan it to you quickly.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Commissioner Monahan will send that to you. So the motion from Commissioner Randolph is to deny the application without prejudice. Is there a second?
I want to add a condition as a procedural.
First, let's get a second and then we can,
Commissioner Levy, I'll second.
Commissioner Levy seconds. We'll come back to, so we need to give Commissioner Randolph an opportunity to comment.
I'll give everybody a minute to read this. Let me know. Start. I have it somewhere.
Thank you, Commissioner Randolph. I have it now.
You want to just start
Sure.
with the top line?
Yeah, so the top line is, given the absence of technical materials identified previously by staff and in our previous denial without prejudice, I'm suggesting we deny this without prejudice and which in layman's terms gives them a chance to come back. But the information presented on wetlands was inadequate. It was asked that we have an updated field verified wetlands delineation prepared by a qualified professional. This was in the last denial as well, including surveyed wetland boundaries and ecological assessment, evaluating potential impacts associated with the defined limits of disturbance. The grading information on drainage and stormwater did not meet our last denial without prejudice. We were looking for an engineered grading, drainage, and stormwater management plan, including calculations and modeling, prepared in accordance with the Connecticut Stormwater, the applicable 2004 Connecticut Stormwater Manual. There was not an E&S plan, erosion and sedimentation control plan. In order to make an assessment of this, we need a detailed erosion and sedimentation control plan, identifying limits of disturbance, temporary and permanent stabilization measures, construction sequencing, and sufficient for site plan review. There was no traffic impact study, and this intersection coming into here was intuitively troublesome, and there was no specific detail on how that was to be addressed. So we were looking for a TIA in accordance with Connecticut DOT and ITE standards, including existing and projected traffic volumes, site distance, variance analysis, intersection capacity, and queuing analysis and evaluation of emergency vehicle operations. There was no information on fire and emergency access for us to evaluate the completeness of this. We need fire access apparatus plan, and all of this was stated in our previous denial without prejudice. In compliance with the Connecticut Fire Safety Code and the IFC Appendix D, including fire lane geometry, turning radius, ladder truck access and staging areas supported by legally established access. There was no confirmation of utilities. We need will serve capacity letters from the Water Pollution Control Authority, the applicable utility providers, including water, confirming the adequacy of sewer and water service to support the proposed development. Architectural and landscape plans were inadequate, and they had changed quite a bit from the previous submission, which gave me grave concern because since they changed from the first submission to the second submission under these broad guidelines of zoning, I'm concerned that they might change again, perhaps back and revert to the previous submission. So there was no commitment on the site plans, architectural landscape plans. So I've got these written down here. And for the reasons stated above, I'm suggesting that the TPZ denies the modified affordable housing application without prejudice. This decision is based solely on the insufficiency of the evidentiary record and does not constitute the determination of the merits of any future application supported by a complete and legally operative site plan level documentation.
Thank you, Commissioner Randolph, Commissioner Libby.
It might be appropriate if we amend the motion to include the drafted proposed findings and decision that Commissioner Randolph took the time to draft for us, and that be incorporated as part of the final, as a that be included as part of the motion and our findings and decision.
Okay with that? Fair enough. Okay.
And then as to the substance of it, again, we're in uncharted area where you have a proposed text amendment or zoning change without a site plan. And to the extent that 830G calls upon us to, and places a burden upon us to make certain findings or that any denial be based on substantial evidence from that in the record that would suggest that there's a potential threat to the health and safety of the public as a result of that development. Well, we just don't have the information without a site plan here. And, while our regulations do allow for us to require, as our zoning regulation 29-14 provides, that any such affordable housing request to amend the regulations include a conceptual site plan. In terms of this text amendment and its applicability here, absent the detailed information required by site plan, I don't view this as a valid application. Our zoning regulations require certain documents and site plans and stormwater analysis be included for it to be a proper application. And that it is not the case here, where all we have is basically a conceptual plan without much of the detail necessary for us to do our job. So accordingly, I think it's appropriate to deny it without prejudice. Leave to, if necessary, others as to whether or not it's proper, whether or not a proposed text amendment in connection with an affordable housing plan also requires that it be accompanied by a site plan application. That's an open question, but that's not before us right now. Rather, again, I think we're in a position where we need to deny without prejudice until we have compliance basically with what we've previously requested.
Thank you, Commissioner Libby. Commissioner Braun. And then
Yes, I agree and I endorse both my colleagues' comments, and I just want to add a few things. It has a lack of adequate information. In addition, it actually will create safety hazards. I just want to point out a few quotes from the Simcoe report dated December 9th, 2025. A dangerous situation will be created for parked vehicles to safely enter and exit the spaces, the 3 spaces that have been relocated. Also, due to the curve in the access driveway to accommodate the entering of trucks, exiting vehicles cannot pass safely at the same time. Also, there is minimal and insufficient clearance between the parking aisle of Hartford Healthcare and the proposed site access driveway. And finally, there is minimal and insufficient spacing between the parking aisle, access driveway and intersection with Black Rock Turnpike to safely accommodate the many combination of vehicle movements. And that's actual safety issues that this traffic engineer has concluded will take place if the project goes forward as with the limited information that we have been provided. But as far as, and also we are allowed to consider things other than safety. We're allowed to consider environmental and historic resources. And of course, the Merritt Parkway is the largest historic resource in our town. And the height has been increased, and that will then affect the bucolic view from the Merritt Parkway, as has been pointed out by the experts that the neighbors hired and the Merritt Parkway Conservancy hired. As far as wetlands, I agree there's been inadequate testing. I also feel there needs to be testing, like a subsurface hydrogeological test, whatever they call it, because there will need to be blasting. If you drive by that site, I don't see how they could build this without a huge amount of blasting. I would like to have that information in front of me before I decide on anything. And oh, then just as far as the law of concept review, my opinion matches other people's opinions. Basically, we need something concrete before us. We should not have to decide on matters that require a detailed analysis without having a concrete plan in front of us. We need to be able to measure the consequences and impact, decide if there is a public health and safety issue, and that's impossible to do without adequate information. So I think this case is distinguishable from the Beach Road case because that had an actual concrete application. This one does not. So the lack of information, I believe, is relevant to this type of review even under 8-30G. But aside from the lack of information, we also have actual harm in what they are proposing with what little information we have. So I will vote no on this.
Thank you, Commissioner Capozzi.
I'd like to, I agree with everything that everyone has said, and I thank Commissioner Randolph for lending us his considerable expertise to give us this very detailed and appropriate analysis that I just would like to comment that I find abhorrent that Attorney Bellis would come before this commission without providing any of this information or any talking points speaking to any of this. Generally, I find the use of the 830G law, which was a law that was created to address a specific problem, to ram developments like this into towns where they literally do not fit. This cannot be built without an easement from an adjacent property. I find it to be reprehensible conduct. And I think every town that is subject to it is worse for wear. And this development will irreparably harm the Black Rock Turnpike area. It will irreparably harm traffic patterns in Fairfield. And it does damage to safety and general bucolic, as Commissioner Braun said, tenor of the area. That said, I would like to propose that any new application for this development come with an actual affirmative easement grant from the neighboring property, and that that easement grant be reviewed by either this commission or the Zoning Board of Appeals. And because the property next door that would have to grant the easement was given special permission to build that driveway pursuant to a number of factors, including, but not limited to, the number of parking spaces available. And in order for this easement to be granted, parking spaces would have to be removed, which I'm not sure conform to the variance that was granted in the first place to be able to build that building. So that is my request, that any new application come with an affirmative easement grant that is either approved by this commission or by the zoning board of appeals.
Commissioner Randolph. I do not object to that addition, that a reasonable easement grant be part of the, and I'm writing this down, Jody. A reasonable easement grant be added as a condition of the traffic impact analysis to demonstrate the access to the site is safe and reasonable. Does that work?
Yeah, but it has to be granted by the other property.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah,
But it's part of the traffic impact analysis.
right.
So the TIA.
But it would have to be approved by either this commission or the zoning board of appeals, the easement.
The easement would have to be enforced.
Yeah.
Commissioner Levy.
Yeah, I don't, as a second on it, I don't think we need to address that right now. I mean, I think the text amendment right now, which requires access over 4185 Black Rock Turnpike, I don't see how we can address that right now. 4185 Black Rock Turnpike is not before us. They're requesting that by way of a text amendment, we modify the special permit that we've already granted in a matter that's not before us. So I don't think we need to address how they're going to do it or what they're going to do when they come back before us. Presumably, they'll have somebody from 4185 with a motion to modify the special permit along with appropriate documents, which aren't speculative, which will allow us to evaluate whether or not you can safely get from Black Rock Turnpike and make a U-turn into this property. But for right now, I would object to the amendment because I think that's something that should just be left to when they come back, if they come back after the denial without prejudice.
Commissioner Randolph.
So I think the suggestion of the concern is raised about whether actual access is achievable. And I think that's part of the traffic impact, the TIA, the traffic impact analysis will say that this site is accessible given the control and ownership of the parcel. So to Commissioner Levy's suggestion, perhaps we shouldn't prescribe how they do it, just say we need to accomplish a safe access to the site rather than prescribing how they do it, because they could come up with something else.
Well, Attorney Bellis did tell me, right, as I asked him, that he could not build this as it was proposed without that easement. So I don't think, that's why I'm asking that any new application contain an affirmative easement grant that has been either approved by this commission or by the zoning board of appeals as is appropriate. Because I don't know how we evaluate a building that cannot be accessed without an affirmative easement grant that is based on a building that was already given a variance by I believe the zoning board of appeals to be able to build it in the first place.
Second, Commissioner Monahan, you have something on this?
To the traffic study, and the traffic information that he provided was also, in my opinion, obsolete. And it was, the data that he provided was a very generic, amount of information on traffic. It didn't specifically pertain to this area today. I think it would need to be updated post-COVID. I've been spending a lot of time driving by this property at different times of the day. And, it's as we all know, it's incredibly highly trafficked. I also want to go back to.
I'm sorry, I just want to resolve the proposed amendment to the motion first, and then
I
we'll come
just
back
wanted
to
to also make sure that we added to this, the blasting study, because I do believe there's going to be some impact on the neighboring properties regarding potential
it.
blasting.
So let me forget that. We'll come back to it.
Yeah.
Other thoughts on the.
So just in terms of the agreement, I think just to address Commissioner Monahan's question about traffic, item D, I think addresses both of your concerns because the TIA, Traffic Impact Study, or TIS, prepared in accordance with the Institute of Traffic Engineers standards, includes existing and projected traffic volume, site distance analysis, intersection capacity, for the existing property that's under control. They can't say, well, we're going to build an intersection on an adjoining piece of property that they don't control. So I think that's all, both of your questions are addressed in this. I could make it more specific. And I heard Commissioner Levy say that is not speculative. So I think the addition of that would likely, because we can't prescribe how they accomplish this. We can say that they need to accomplish.
Right, but he's on the record saying he can't build it as proposed without the easement.
He's not an engineer, so. So,
He spoke on
yeah.
behalf of he
Yeah.
literally said, I can't build this without the easement. He said it on the record.
we're,
I'm not trying to make this easy for him to do.
yeah, so I think we're prescribing outcomes, not means to an outcome. So if we define the performance specification that they have to meet a recognized standard, that is not speculative. I think that's because they're speculating they can get this access and they haven't proven that they can get it.
Well, not only are they speculating that they can get it, he's saying he can't build this without it. So I want to hold him to, I want to hold him to his word.
Going as currently shown.
Yeah. I want to hold him
So
to
they
his word.
they could get the adjoining property perhaps.
That's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
But he can't build it without it. He said it.
Commissioner Monahan.
Question. So if this project were in the future to be approved and it wasn't built for 10 to 12 years, would the traffic study that was shown when it was approved be applicable, or would a future study have to be done to be applicable at that time?
This would only approve the zoning change. They would still need to come back with the site plan and that, and then that would have to have the any site plan would have its.
5 years.
5 years.
So they would have 5 years.
5 years to build it.
Great.
So where does that leave us? Is there,
I think if we say add to D, a traffic impact study prepared to accordance, because the issue is access, not control of the property. Prepared to accordance, including existing and projected traffic volume, site distance analysis, intersection capacity. I think we say that is not speculative. Would partially address your question.
And I would run it, I would like to spell it out that he has to get the easement that he said he cannot build it without. He said it right there on the
Right, but
record.
they're gonna have a period of time to submit another plan. So that plan might have an alternate access. It could have it's unlikely to, but it could have an alternate access point.
May I offer a compromise
Commissioner Braun and then Commissioner Levy.
that he provide legal evidence of, if that is what he is choosing for the access, that he provide legal evidence that he has that access. Otherwise, the whole thing is a waste of time. So we can't make him provide that access, but if he is going to use that access, then he has to provide the easement for that access. My concern is he's going to try to go over the wetland that's up the road a little bit.
Well, he did say that the only reasonable means of access based on a number of factors was this easement. And when I asked him if he could build it without it, he said no.
Yeah.
So I'd like to hold him to his word.
The issue I see with that is this is not site plan approval, and he could go and get that easement in the time between any approval, whenever it happens or doesn't. If approval of the regulations was granted, between that time and the submission of a formal site plan, he could go and get it. And so I'm not sure how you condition it on something so specific.
A condition that he spoke to build that specific plan, he needed this specific easement.
Right, but he's not requesting site plan approval right now, is the other piece of that.
And he could come back with a different site plan. in a specific amount of time, just as he did, because he went from the first plan to the second plan, which is one of the things that concerns me so much is that there was so much variation. He'd come back with yet another plan.
A reduction in size that allowed.
Well, it could be an increase in size. It could be an increase in size, right? So there's no parameter, this zoning approval as proposed doesn't have tight enough parameters and even the scope of the project, much less the safety issues. So my intent here was to make sure that and to Commissioner Braun's point, to address Commissioner Pond's point, is they address wetlands, stormwater management, erosion, sedimentation control, traffic, emergency access, utilities, and the landscaping properly. The traffic is where and I think Commissioner Levy's suggestion of not being speculative.
That's fine.
Or,
I understand.
or
Yeah,
if they had a,
that's fine. Good,
or
good.
because we
Point
could
taken.
approve it saying a condition of approval is obtaining something, and if they didn't obtain it, then it would be denied.
Right, point taken.
Yeah, that'd just be, I mean, at this point, we're denying without prejudice, or that's the proposal, is to deny without prejudice. It'll be up to the applicant to come back to us, hopefully with a site plan, perhaps even with some input from the Conservation Commission before he gets back to us. That would certainly be helpful, but I guess theoretically it could be subject to later Conservation Commission approval. But at this point, I don't want to imply, we've told him what we think we need, and those are recommendations, but not necessarily conditions. And whether or not he'll be able to build it, whether Bella says he can or can't, he's not an engineer. Lawyers speak for their clients, but the clients often change their minds. So, I don't think we can hold him to that. And I don't think we should take a position that it's reprehensible. He's got an affordable housing plan. We've reviewed it. We need more information. We've told him the sort of things we think we need, and it's back in his court. It's a denial without prejudice, and we'll see what he suggests the next time. And we've made recommendations, but there certainly shouldn't be conditions at this stage as to what he needs to do.
And just to clarify, the comment of reprehensible is me speaking as a citizen of the town of Fairfield, not on behalf of the board. That's just my personal opinion. I stand by it.
So as the person who made the motion, what are you?
I think the only modification, and I've got this written up to send, is under D. Or perhaps the absence of technical materials identified. I'll put it in the header for number 7 on the second page, saying that these issues cannot be speculative, because it's not just the traffic, it's as Commissioner Braun raised, it's got to be grading, the wetlands, emergency access, utilities. He's got to come back with a plan that's not speculative on any of these, health and safety issues.
Okay. Commissioner Levy, you good with that additional language?
Yes.
Okay. Are there any other comments by the commission? On the main motion to deny without prejudice? If no one else has comments, I'll just jump in. I'm going to abstain on this. I'm not opposed to the motion to deny without prejudice, but I think some of this is a bit too broad. I had previously voted to deny without prejudice the last time this came before us, primarily on the issue of site access. There are clearly still site access issues, but I don't think, given that this is an 830G application, that the applicant has an obligation under the law to provide all the evidence that Commissioner Randolph has articulated. And I don't want to get into trying to propose to amend his well thought out motion. So I'll abstain. I think there's still site deficiencies, some of which I think can be addressed through an updated application at this stage. Others I think are probably better addressed at the site plan phase. I do have some concern with, and I think it's mostly moot because the motion wasn't amended, but there are some challenges that I think arise from things that are that may or may not take place between the time a decision is made on the zoning regulation amendments and the site plan application. As Commissioner Levy said, it's murky. There's not a lot of case law. So I guess regardless of what happens, we'll hopefully get some guidance on where to go from here. So that's where I stand. Did you have something further?
Yeah, I'm just wondering whether we should amend it so that instead of saying that the following materials is under number 7 at the end, instead of saying the following material would be required, the following materials should be provided. Still up to the applicant as to what the. So change that to should be provided.
I think that would,
So it's more of a
I think that would
recommendation.
cover us because I'm not sure all those must be provided under the law, so.
Yeah, so the following, so
if they're
perhaps
gonna be
make
coming
it,
Back to us anyway, they may just
yeah.
provide some of that regardless.
So I would just change the last sentence, number 7, perhaps to that plan level of review, comma, it is recommended that the following materials should be provided. Yeah, that's it.
Commissioner Randolph?
Yes, I'm just getting it right now. Yes, I got it. I agree.
Any other
Okay,
comments?
so just to be clear, because I included the other language. So right now, the way it reads is to evaluate any future applications or modifications at a site plan level of review, it is recommended that the following materials should be required. And the proposed solution should not be speculative.
Should be provided rather than required.
Good?
Okay, any last comments, questions? Okay, let's put this to a vote. All those in favor of the motion to deny without prejudice, the full motion will include the text of that Commissioner Randolph prepared with the minor modifications to 0.7 just articulated. You'll provide that to staff.
Yep.
Rating, all those in favor of that motion, please say aye or raise your hand. All those opposed, abstain, 1. So the motion carries 6-0. 1 abstain. You. Okay. That will bring us to our public hearings. The first one is 264 Fairchild Avenue. It's a special exception application of Summit Holding LC for an addition to an existing auto repair facility in a DCD. There's been a request to postpone that public hearing to January 27th. So can I please have a motion? Commissioner Monahan moves to postpone to January 27th. Thank you. Can I have a second? Commissioner Braun seconds. Thank you. All those in favor of the motion to postpone public hearing on 264 Fairchild Avenue to January 27th, please raise your hand. Say aye. Motion passes unanimously.
When we do the minutes, I just want to point out, it should say postpone, not table. Remember, we talked about the distinction between those two.
Yes, thank you. I put it forward that way, but you're right. It does say that in the, it does say table in the agenda. And thank you for noticing. 3232 Post Road Special Exception Application of Atlantis Management Group to expand an existing convenience store, Atlantis Fresh Market, as part of a gas station use in a design commercial district. Good evening.
Good evening. How are you guys?
Good, thanks.
I'm gonna set up a board over here. I'm not too sure if you can put on the screen or not, but I can just speak to what's gonna be sitting next to me.
While you're setting that up, PSA, anyone who's joining us remotely this evening for either of our public hearings, please just make sure to sign in and chat, and indicate you wish to be heard or to raise your digital hand at that time once we get to public comment. Otherwise, we will not be able to recognize you to speak.
Hi, good evening. My name's Matthew Cheka. I work for Stonefield Engineering and Design. I'm here representing the applicant Atlantis Management Group. What we're proposing is, well, the site's located at 3232 Post Road. It's in between Boston Post Road and Kings Highway. It's kind of hard to tell, but there's a lot of landscaping just north of the building, next to Kings Highway. But the site, I'm sure you're familiar with it, is the Gulf gas station and the Atlantis Fresh Market, at this location. It's obviously right close to the overpass of 95. So the applicant is proposing to install a 780 square foot addition to the rear side of the building. Currently, what's there today is just like a gravel pad, some like sitting walls, some utilities. And the reason for the expansion is that the operator wants a little bit more storage in the back of house for their, I think, cold storage for beverages and their products and stuff like that. So there's a need for that, for that type of expansion and storage area itself. With that, the applicant is proposing just minor upgrades to the site itself. Specifically with the parking. Currently, the site was underparked by a stall or two. Now, due to the increase in the building square footage, we are making that to code, where 18 parking stalls are required and providing 18 themselves. I just want to note that we didn't take in consideration the actual fueling station where the cars actually, fuel. Those parking counts weren't considered as part of this application. But in hindsight, that does count as an additional space. So we're actually exceeding that 18 number, which we think is a positive and net benefit to the actual site. With the additional square footage of the building, we are installing a porous pavement system in coordination with the town engineer. We did geotechnical testing and provided the necessary means for stormwater management, and that is being located just to the east side of the building within the parking stalls immediately in that pavement area. It's not pavers, it's a porous pavement. So it'll kind of look the same, but the water from the building only will discharge onto that pavement area and treat the water appropriately before it gets discharged as it does today within Boston Post Road. We prepared a little drainage analysis and report, and that was shared with the town for obviously their review. In terms of zoning, we are in the DCD zone where gas station or gasoline fueling stations, are a special exception use. That's the reason why we're here today. And regarding setbacks and lot square footages, we're not seeking any variances. Most of it's no change. Obviously, we're increasing the square footage, but we're still under the threshold requirements for zoning. That's really it. It's fairly straightforward. So just here to entertain any questions, and if any public has any questions, we'd be more than happy to answer them.
Thank you, Mr. Cheka. Any questions from the commission? Commissioner Braun, I don't see you, so just chime in if you have a question. Commissioner Randolph.
So just to be clear, the area and looks like the drawing that we have in front of us is slightly different, but the area that's being hatched, is that where?
This area here, you're saying?
Area right there?
Yeah, that like darker hatch is the area of the proposed addition.
Okay.
The building is a little awkward shaped, right? We're making it more squared off.
And looks like there's trees back on the, I'll say the plan northwest
Correct.
section. Are you taking out any trees?
We're not taking down anything greater, we're not, it's like a big tree. It's a lot of just like broken up shrubbery, I'll say. So there will be some, what I'll say, like landscaped clearing for that. But what we did is we installed a wall, and that wall's not much great in height to propose just the least impact to that slope as possible.
The knee, it's like a knee wall.
Exactly, yes.
And so you're just impacting the back there.
Yeah, the only impact is really to the back area and then the parking stalls themselves to the east of the building to install our stormwater management system.
And where's the trash located?
The trash enclosure is located to the west of the building. That's not being touched at all. There is a fence along this back side of the building. It's a white vinyl fence. We have to remove a portion of it for the construction, but we're just replacing in kind. Yeah.
Is there, will you have it, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Will you have a trash enclosure?
There is one proposed, the existing today, and we're not changing it as part of the development. So it's existing to remain.
Commissioner Levy.
Yeah, I'm looking at a correspondence from one of the neighbors from, I guess it's the Southport Woods condominium.
Sure.
And they're referring to both 3232 and 3400 Post Road and requesting that a fence be installed along the back of the property, along with some landscaping. Is that contemplated at this point, a 6-foot fence?
In the backside of the property, there is a fence that we're proposing, so that meets that need. And there's also just a big buffer between Kings Highway West and the site itself. Like if you're driving on Kings Highway looking, I guess, into the site, you don't even know a gas station's there. There's a lot of, I mean, maybe not during like the winter months, but during like right now, I guess like during the foliage, you won't be able to see it, and you're much higher. So, you know, we're maintaining that landscaping as best as possible. We're trying to impact the least amount in that rear part, that rear area. But there will be a new fence along the back side because we need to remove it and replace it due to the new construction.
That'll be 6 feet in height or?
Correct, yeah. And it'll be a white vinyl fence. So it'll provide, there'll be privacy slats. You won't be able to see it like a chain link fence. See through it like a chain link fence.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, that all for your initial presentation?
Yeah, I'm all set. Yes, thank you.
Okay, so we'll conclude the initial presentation. We'll go to public comment. Is there anyone in the room who wishes to be heard on this item? Anyone joining remotely who wishes to be heard, please sign in and chat or raise your digital hand. I haven't figured out a better way to say that. Virtual hand. All right, last call. Attorney Green, you're not here for either of these applications.
Thank you.
Okay, I will close the public comment. Anything from you? Okay,
I think it's all good. Thank you.
all right, thank you. We'll close the public hearing. I'm sorry, did you have something else, Commissioner? Monahan? Okay, I'll close the public hearing on 3232 Post Road. We'll go to 3400 Post Road, special exception. Where did I put it? Special exception application of 3400 PR LLC to remodel the existing buildings, reconfigure the site circulation and signage package for an existing car wash in a design commercial district zone.
Chairman, we have design professional Philip Henry online. He's promoted to co-host, so.
Thank you. Who's leading this next is Mr. Henry leading this presentation?
I'll be, Mr. Chairman, I'll be starting it and then I can defer to
All right.
Phil if there's any technical questions. I don't know if he's able to share his screen.
Yes.
So I have a board as well. I apologize. They were not supposed to bind this, but this is the site plan. And do have other sheets available if needed. Good evening. For the record, my name is Peter Yeski. I am a real estate developer and consultant with a firm called Connecticut Valley Development, principal of that firm out of Suffield, Connecticut. I'm here on behalf of Russell Speeders of Connecticut LLC, who is the applicant. 3400 Post Road is the property owner. Russell Speeders is a tenant on this property currently. So I think most of you are familiar with this. It's right down the street from the Atlantis facility. This was formerly Fred's Car Wash. The Fred's business was acquired by Russell Speeders. They're doing business as Speeders Car Wash now. They've entered into a long-term lease agreement for this property and other properties in Fairfield County and elsewhere. Just a quick overview about Russell Speeders. You may be familiar with the brand already. Founded over 50 years ago, right down the road here on Main Avenue in Norwalk. In around 2022, I believe, they were acquired by an investment firm. They were rebranded to Speeders, and they've grown to over 65 locations. 31 of those are in Connecticut, including several in Fairfield County. And pleased to say that in addition to buying existing facilities and rebranding them, we are, my firm specifically is assisting them with a new build program as well. As mentioned, Phil Henry, Principal of Civil Design Group, is on the Zoom tonight. I can turn it over to Phil. He is the project engineer, so I will turn it over to Phil if there's any technical questions, but I'll try to give you a real brief overview of what we're doing here, cognizant of the fact it's 9 o'clock. So the intent of this site remodel is really just to bring the site up to modern standards of today's express car wash. Current conditions, which you can see on the screen, is really, it's just a sort of a sea of pavement right now. What we're looking to do is enhance the site circulation and safety of the site, better manage the traffic flow around the site, and provide customer service amenities that don't exist today, such as, and some do actually, such as payment kiosks. So basically what that is when you pull into the facility right here, we're proposing kiosks where if you're a monthly member, there's a scanner, an RFID chip that you're given, which reads your car, reads your license plate, and you're processed through. If you're a cash credit customer, there's a kiosk here where you can enter your information. There's also going to be a roaming attendant that can assist with that. Walk through the plan. So a few of the, pardon me. Few of the modifications, and I'll start here if everyone can see and hear me. The entrance driveway, essentially what this is now is one large curb cut. We are going to, and we know we have to go in front of Connecticut DOT, the proper encroachment permit, but the plan is to slightly close or minimize the throat of this driveway, have one entrance lane here. The vehicles will circulate again back through the site, queuing here to those payment kiosks. They'll then proceed into the wash building, just as it exists today. There's no change to any of the footprint of the building. Once they're done with the wash, they'll have three options here. Option one is to proceed out to the post road. Option two will be to proceed to the 7 proposed self-service vacuum stations. So these will be basically vacuum canisters on a boom arch with a canopy over them with lighting. So a little bit nicer than just the ground mounted cans that you see today. The third option they'll have is a service that the Fred's Car Wash provided that we're also looking to provide, which is a light detailing. So it's a customer who elects to have more of a full service, an attendant vacuum the car, wash the windows, dress the dash. It's not a drop your car off, leave it for 3 hours type service. This is a 5 or 10 minute, attendant will do the vacuuming instead of the customer type service. So those are the three options. Again, assuming you are just here for the exterior wash, which a lot of our customers at this time of year are, they would proceed out to the post road. Assuming you wanted to do the interior as well, traffic pattern will be to circulate you back out to this exit here. Few other minor things that we're doing. Again, I talked about the vacuums. The back of the site right now is sort of a hodgepodge of sheds. We're cleaning that up. We're going to be compliant with the setbacks, and we're adding landscaping back here. I did hear the question about screening on the last application, so we are proposing to replace in entirety this fence back here with a 6-foot fence, 6-foot stockade fence. Fence is there now. It's a little beat up. We're going to address that and fix that. Biggest change to the building is a bump out of approximately 6 feet. The reason for that is to get a little bit more length in the building and a little bit more height. Today's modern blowers, which is the final piece of equipment in a car wash, which actually dries your car, require just a little bit more clearance than what's in that building now. It's an older building. So that's reason one. Second reason is we can just do some architectural enhancements, which are in your packet from the elevations and the signage standpoint. In terms of signage, it's really just a replace of what's there. In fact, you may have driven by the site. You've already seen it's been rebranded. Pylon has been rebranded, no change to that. Building signage, we understand we're compliant. There's currently a sign here that says car wash and a branding sign here. We're basically proposing the same thing also in your packet. I do have an example of that. Really no other changes. Hours of operations are going to remain the same, which are, I'll give you those right now, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. weekdays and 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Sundays. So happy to answer any questions. Like I said, Phil Henry is the technical guru on the site. He's also available for questions.
Commissioner Lady.
Yeah, for a vehicle that's exiting the car wash, if they're not going either for the detailing or the vacuum, subject to, I guess it would be up to DOT, but will they be allowed to go onto the post road and make a left turn? Or will it be right turn only, or will they have to exit by going back through and around?
Yeah, we're showing a full exit here. So no ingress, but to right or left turn. To your point, it is going to be subject to final review by the DOT.
Commissioner Monahan.
So I understand you're putting in larger blowers and making the building larger. There will probably need to be someone to dry the car or to, so no, you don't have any.
No, ma'am, no, the cars, the blowers itself, and I'm not sure they're larger, it's just we need more clearance. I'm not sure what's there now. It's not my area of expertise, but the blowers itself, that is what will drive the car. The only thing that would, the only.
There's no human on this.
There's no human on that side that would dry the car with a towel. I don't know if that was done in theory, in practice, but we're getting.
Additionally, what is the separation between egress, the entrance and the exit to the right side? What is separating the entrance to the exit paths?
Right
The
here,
right-hand side,
referring to this.
to the right, entrance and exit. Yep.
I believe, Phil, can you confirm that's just painted striping?
Yeah, it's just, can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Hi, good evening. Phil Henry with Civil Design Group. Yes, the right entrance slash or full access curb cut is just separated by a 2-foot striped median that will be on the ground. It's in place of say a double yellow line, which you would typically see. We had a little bit extra space, so we've decided to make that separation a little bit larger.
And how wide are those driveways?
It's
driveway?
they're 12-foot drive lanes with 2-foot spacing in between.
That's actually a very dangerous turn there, coming in and out. It's a very highly trafficked road. So, it can be somewhat dangerous entering and exiting. You have to be very quick to get in and out. So the width, I think, is important.
Okay.
Commissioner Braun? You're on mute if you're trying to speak.
Yeah, I'm looking at an aerial. Is this directly across from Mama Chow's? That is kind of a bad area for getting in and out.
I'm sorry, I'm not intimately familiar. The last time I was in Fairfield was
There's a
actually
little
in this
strip
building
mall.
learning to drive a fire truck, but I'm not going to tell you when that was. It's a long
Okay.
time ago. So it's next to the diner, if that helps.
Oh, okay. So I'm just reading some of the neighbors' letters. Could you explain again the facade improvements you're doing, as well as I know you're putting a stockade fence in. Is there any possibility of adding more screening, arborvitaes, or also the tree warden has suggested if there might not be a way. It's a very tight lot. There's one tree there now. Is there any possibility of adding any other trees, shade trees, anywhere in a planter in the parking lot or anything like that?
Yeah, so I guess I'll jump in here, Peter. So
Please.
one of the design goals when we always try to redevelop or rebrand a site like this is to see if we can minimize impervious area and add landscaping. And we think we've achieved that. We have a reduction of I think 0.06 acres, which I think is 2,600 square feet of impervious reduction. Mainly, as you can see here, there's a large triangular area here that is all vegetated. I'm showing the landscape plan because you brought up an inquiry about vegetation. So we are adding 9 trees and over 100 ground covers and shrubs in opportunistic spots along the frontage. We are adding a stockade fence. That there is trees along this median right here. There appears to be existing vegetation behind what I'll call the relocated shed. So we didn't really focus too much effort on that because it appears to be some mature shrubbery over there. But we did sort of infill, I'll call it, the areas that were sort of in need of some vegetative cover.
Is there, just anticipating some of the questions on neighbors on Kings Highway West, is there an ability, obviously the stockade fence that'll be maintained, there are pictures in there of chain link fence broken down with litter and things like that,
Yeah.
facing Kings Highway West. Is there room up there to put something like arborvitaes or shrubs or anything to make it screened a little bit more? Or stockade fence would be pretty tall, right? Like 6 feet tall?
Yeah, the stockade fence is going to be 6 feet tall, and also King Street is a few feet higher than the site.
Okay.
If you're familiar with it. Unfortunately, there's no room to do on-site vegetation because we are fairly up to the property line. Currently, there's actually an encroachment from the current development onto Kings Highway. So we're actually eliminating that encroachment, which I think is good for everyone. However, in doing so, there's no room to do on-site vegetation at this pinch point. Where we're showing, I'll call it lawn grass, there are two existing mature trees there now, and we really don't want to touch that. And then where there's a corner over here, we're adding a tree here, and then we wanted to focus on the next available spot on site to add trees, which is right here. We wanted to kind of create like a dimensional vegetation. So perhaps from King's Street, this will sort of look opaque in the sense that you'll have a fence, and then you'll have these trees stretching above that from their perspective.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Commissioner Monahan, go ahead.
So currently you can enter the property and use the, and clean your car. So that won't be an option. So I'm just looking more.
Right,
the
so I
traffic.
apologize. I switched the plan on. You
So
feel.
The traffic
Yes.
pattern, just going in, you have to get your car washed and then come around. It just
Right.
seems like a very, difficult.
It
It's
is,
a
and it's.
small lot,
Yeah,
there'll be a lot of cars in there.
Yeah, the purpose of this site configuration is to create sort of a one-way site circulation so that in the existing condition, I'm just gonna switch back here for a second. In the existing condition, you would come on site and there's vacuums here, there's also vacuums here, there's this dead area here. So what we found is that there was no real focus on vehicular circulation. What we tried to accomplish was to create a definitive site circulation whereby folks enter in. I don't know if you could follow my mouse. They enter in, they go through the pay kiosk, and then they purposely snake throughout the site. Once going through the tunnel, they either exit the site or they come back in, and everything's in a one-way circulation. So there's no cross trafficking once you're through the tunnel. So I don't know if you would if that makes sense, but that site circulation is designed on purpose.
And I was also going to add to Phil's point, I was going to say that the initial queuing lane, that is what we don't want is the conflict of those vacuums there. So we don't want someone backing out into that queue. We don't want someone blocking that lane and then it starts queuing up on the post road. That's the worst possible scenario for us. So that's the intent of the design and Phil.
Yeah, that's a good point, Peter. I should have brought that up. It's always good practice to isolate all parking spaces, vacuum or non-vacuum, from the queue lane, and that was one of our design goals here, was to get the queue lane isolated from the site.
Commissioner Randolph.
Yeah, thanks. I see that your landscape plan looks like you're thoughtful about your landscape. I would echo Commissioner Braun and the tree commissioner's request to put, I think you could put more than one tree along the post road. It looks like it's out of your, right now, it looks like it's out of your landscape plan.
Can you show the current picture again?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Picture of what's there?
On the screen? Yeah.
Sure.
I think that's the DOT right of way where that tree is currently.
Yeah, that's in the highway. And then these are the existing trees that we're maintaining here and here.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about the tree in the DOT right of way.
This one?
Yeah, can you add a tree or two there?
Well, not in the right of way, but we are adding two trees that are bookending this tree here that's in the right of way. Plus, we're adding trees as you enter the site here.
I saw the tree warden requested a tree. Which one was he requesting?
Can I clarify real quick? I think we were seeing whether or not there could be room to add one within the right of way along Kings Highway itself. I think that it might be something that you would have to spot locate, given there's a utility overhead in the only spot that's clear. If you go back to that aerial, that was a concern, but the tree warden thought that there could be one room, but you'd like the applicant just to work with them right at the back of your site there along Kings Highway.
I'm saying the post road.
Oh, he was only commenting on Kings Highway.
So can we put one on the post road?
That's a state, from my understanding, that's a state decision. I mean,
There's a tree there now.
yeah, no, understood, of course.
Yeah, it's just a request, because I think Commissioner Braun, and then, at the diner, is it still it's not it's the Southport
That's
Diner now, right?
Southport.
Southport Diner now, yeah. Is there a possibility, it looks like you've got a planted berm separating the diner property and your property?
Yes.
Can we put I think Commissioner Braun asked for the same thing. Can we put some type of, green separation there? Green buffer?
Yes, we can. In fact, I think that vegetation's staying there. So,
I can't zoom in on
There.
the downloaded drawing I've got. I can't really.
yeah,
It's not clear.
our limit of curbing is being maintained here. So whatever this vegetation is here now, is going to be staying.
Is that within your parcel or is that the diner property?
That is on our part. It's close. It's tight. Let me see here. That is on, I would argue that most of it is on our side.
So can you plant a hedge there?
Yes, yeah, we can certainly accept that as a condition.
Thank you. And then, signs, my favorite topic. I was asking Mr. Mullen to, research this. I'm not sure if he got the answer, but I see, and again, it's, pylon reference, C. Not-
Okay, I could try to,
It's this one right here. Okay. I'll flip to that too.
So it's Eric's sheet showing the pylon sign.
okay.
Down at the bottom.
It looks like you're, fixing that old sign.
It's been fixed, yeah.
Yeah.
This one, sir?
Yes.
Okay.
Is that sign conforming?
Does the sign conform?
I don't know.
Okay. We make sure that sign conforms. It's not just grandfathered in.
We can look into that. I mean, if it's an existing non-conforming, you know.
Well, you're,
What are you requesting? I'm not.
it's, if the signs have a depreciable life,
Sure.
and it just irks me to no end how they take these old signs and they just reface them and they're like, oh,
Right.
yeah, we're gonna maintain our non-conforming sign in perpetuity.
Hmm.
If it's a non-conforming sign, I'd like it to be conforming, please, because I'm pretty sure that one's too high. Is it 12 feet?
15.
15?
You're allowed 15.
You're allowed 15? Okay, that one's probably 15, right? Like,
I can get the permits and
forward
for you.
is that, so conforming is 15?
It would be, yeah, I would, again, unless there was a variance granted.
Yeah, so that probably is conforming.
I can look into it and get it to you guys tomorrow.
And then just for a process point, are we approving the signage or is that reviewed separately?
It can be reviewed. Emmeline, I don't know if you want to put on this, whether or not the sign would be a separate permit or whether it would be improved as part of this plan.
Just all the signage?
It sounds like looks like they have a sign package and you're looking to get that.
We did review the, Matt, I believe Matt and Chris and I, we reviewed the signage together and everything was compliant.
Okay. I just want to make sure we knew what we were approving, so.
Yeah, because I think originally they had wanted more signage and we dialed it back.
That's correct. We had requested, I think, Emmeline, if you remember the first conversation, we had that big S on the side of the building and the race car driver's head, and we were told, nice try, and we said, okay, nice try, we tried. So we dialed it back for sure.
So the east elevation, I think you've got it open right there. Where it says car wash in big letters, that's conforming?
Our understanding it is, yes.
Yeah, I guess just as a condition of approval, we just want to make sure everything's conforming.
It is.
So, yeah, Matt, do you want to speak to it since you're in the room?
Yeah, Matt Decker for the record, zoning officer. The sign plan was reviewed by the office and all the signs that they had proposed that we allowed them to continue with, other than the race car and the big S, comply to all of our regulations.
And nothing is grandfathered?
No, that's a term I don't like to use.
Grandfathers?
Yeah, well, we all have them, but I don't want to use that toward any kind of pre-existing.
it would just be considered legal non-conforming based on whatever was permitted when the original signs were done. What they're proposing now is permitted under our regulations.
Commissioner Monahan, go ahead.
Are the signs lighted? What are the hours to the lights?
Yeah, so the signs are backlit. I believe the speeder sign is definitely backlit. I'm not sure about the car wash sign. I apologize.
So the signs coming from the residential side at night?
There is nothing. This is the rear of the site, so there is no signage to the residents.
And how about other lighting on the property?
There's a lighting plan.
We did submit a lighting plan. Phil can walk through that. I believe everything is full cutoff compliant, but Phil, if you want to just talk through that real quick.
Yes, so
We're not adding any more.
this is a little bit difficult to see in terms of the foot candles, but if you'd like me to zoom into any particular area, I'm happy to do that.
I think my biggest concern is just making sure there's not a lot more lighting for the neighbors, especially at night.
Okay, understood. Yeah, I can tell you that there's only 2 light poles that are proposed. One's located here and one is located here. There are wall packs on each side of the building. All the wall packs are mounted at 15 feet tall on the building, and the mounted heights for the freestanding lights are 20 feet. And the max foot candles right under the light appear to be around 4 or 5, and then they stretch to 0 along the property line. So I think this is a fairly dimly lit site by comparison of like other retail shopping centers.
And just for the record, our regulations do not permit any light candle points to go beyond the property line. So it has to be 0 up to that property line, and anything beyond that's got to be 0 as well.
Any additional questions from the commission? Okay. Anything further in your?
Thank you, no, appreciate it.
All right, we'll end the initial presentation. Is there anyone, there's no one in the room, is there anyone joining remotely who wishes to be heard in this item? Please sign in the chat or raise your virtual hand.
We have nobody, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. Hearing no one, will close the public comment. Anything further?
I mean, thank you very much.
All right,
Appreciate
thank
your
you.
time this evening.
The public hearing on 3400 Cliff Road. And that being the last item, we'll adjourn the evening meeting.
I have a question. There's a meeting scheduled with the public about the new housing bill.
Yes.
And there's several people speaking. Public, so is there an agenda? I understand you're speaking about it. We have not yet been briefed on the public.
This mine's the same.
We're briefed on the public. We've not been briefed on the.
I think there's questions. I mean, there's no agenda. I think it's going to be fielding questions. I haven't gotten enough previous questions, I think. Submitting.
I can't hear what you're saying. Could you speak up a little bit? Sorry.
I said, I think the audience will be submitting some questions, so I don't know in advance what those are.
Mr. Chair,
Gonna be
Yes.
sorry, could I just ask one question of the commission before you adjourn? We had spoke previously a couple weeks ago about a grant that we're submitting on with the town of Bridgeport, or sorry, the city of Bridgeport and Trumbull with MetroCog for a greenway study along the Rooster River. And I'm just getting, I think, Mr. Chair, we wanted to ask if it was okay if you sign that letter on behalf of the commission.
Can we look at the letter? Do we have the letter?
It's just a letter of support for a grant app to be able to look at naturalizing the Rooster River Greenway. So it's, the letters of support help with the grant applications, but it's not, it's going to cite some sections of our that support that. But other than that, it's not a super specific letter. It's just a letter of support.
For a study to be done of the greenway along the Ash Creek or Rooster River?
For a future greenway along the Rooster River. Right now, as you know, it's highly developed.
groundway.
So for a study or for the actual greenway?
For a study, because we would
Okay.
have to look at a long-term acquisition plan. So we
Then
had
I
brought this up, I think about a month ago, and we're getting closer to that grant deadline. Just wanted to confirm that it was okay to go ahead and send that letter of support.
I support it, absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
doesn't guarantee we're gonna get it, but fingers crossed.
Grant
Can
money
we
would
go
be
back
good.
to the January 22nd meeting?
Hang on. So everyone's, any objection to that?
No.
Okay. Thank you, Emma.
So it just says, the ad for it says to discuss the impact and implementation of an act concerning housing group, which would be 002. So the impact and implementation, we still have not been briefed on by our town attorney. So how can we be discussing this with the public before we're first briefed on it?
Sounds like, I mean.
Can I
it's-
send some information
well,
about that tomorrow?
It also looks like there's someone from, I mean, there are legislators.
The state
Yes.
I
reps.
think they are well positioned to speak to the bill.
Well,
they passed.
Our commission is responsible for implementing most of that housing law. I do think we really need to have our town attorney in here and give us a primer like ASAP.
Yeah, we've, I mean, this, you've both asked.
Oh,
I've said
there's-
we'll get it done. I'm not committing to a specific time. I'm not obligating a town attorney to come before us on a specific date. Because they don't report to me, they don't work for me. I can't, and I don't have their schedule. I don't keep their schedule. So,
With the
I mean,
budget.
it
It
seems
should
like.
be our top priority, though. It
It
really
seems
should.
It seems fairly clear that I can't order a town attorney before the commission on a specific date. We can work with them to coordinate, but I'm not sure what else you would like to be done. I'm not going to tell anyone that they need to report to us on a specific date. That's just not, I don't think that's reasonable.
Well, I'm concerned about the conversion of commercial residential by right. At a time, we need to look at all of our commercial inventory to say, what do we really want to eventually make sure is used from a commercial standpoint and not turned into residential? And there's just a lot of information we need regarding this bill, to figure out regarding this bill, so we can set those, priorities here amongst ourselves, if they're priorities.
Yeah, there's certainly a lot to consider.
You know, I think-
We're done. I
Okay,
mean,
would
the meeting's
it be
been adjourned,
helpful,
so you
would it be
don't have to
helpful
raise your hand.
to have an abstract of the bill?
No, it would be helpful to have a public discussion on this bill where people can also weigh in and ask their questions as well.
So I'm sorry, I'm hearing two different things. One, you're asking to be informed on 8002.
Yes,
Does
I
that
would
s-
like to hear what the public hears.
But I'm sorry, the commission is not going to have a public hearing on a state bill. We can have a public hearing, certainly on the measures. We're going to have to make a lot of decisions as a commission about what zoning regulation changes to make, what zones to put forward as a TOD zone, all those kinds of things. And none
my
of those decisions
understanding
are going
is
to be
the
made without a
state is
public, none of those decisions are going to be made.
The state is
You want me to answer
studying,
the question or not?
the state is studying our,
I'm not gonna have a
TOD.
conversation if you're gonna interrupt the answer.
if the state is studying it, we should have an ability to know exactly what they're studying and why, and how we can provide information so that we can create something that actually protects certain areas of this town. That's all. So
Nothing that, you're totally right. The public will have an opportunity to weigh in on during any public hearing, which is going to be required before we take any formal action. If we change our zoning regulations, they'll have a public hearing. If we propose, I think we have to, when we get to the point in a couple of years where we have to adopt a housing growth plan or adopt the region's housing growth plan, there's going to be a public hearing, connected to that. So
what is the state studying?
I can't speak for the state. I don't know what the state is studying.
What is the
Commissioner,
grant that they've been approved to study our 2 train stations, 2 out of 3.
Director Harrigan, I got a question for you. Has OLR provided any summaries of 8002?
They have, which I can forward to the commission. I mean, to Commissioner Monahan's point, which I replied to her an email, yes, the DOT, which we don't control, they're a state agency, they have started to look at the properties that they own at the train stations, which, where we used to have multi-year wait lists for parking, where now there's a lot of vacancy within those parking lots. They have started to look at whether or not those could be repurposed for TOD usage. Just like they've done in Stamford, just like they've done in New Haven, they have started to look at those train stations. Right now, they've only asked, well, what is your zoning around the train station? What do you guys presently permit around the train station? That's as far as things have gotten. So there's nothing more that's happening as far as we know. They're just doing exploratory research at this point. But, there is a need to address a housing shortage in the state, and they're starting to look at those properties which they own.
So does it sound to you like they're looking at the main train station downtown on Road for development into residential, mixed residential and parking?
We own that station.
Yeah, the downtown station is owned by the town predominantly. The state owns pieces of it around part of the parking lot, but they don't own as much of the town owns most of that lot.
And Director Harrigan, is, the state does not have the ability to override local zoning, do they?
Yes,
They can?
on their own property, yes.
Okay.
They
so
don't
on
even
their-
have to get permits. They don't even have to get building permits from us.
Okay,
It's done at the state level.
That's why I asked her for a list of all the property that they own.
if you go to the, MetroCogs map, that's the
I
best,
did.
that's the best way to find out.
I also asked her to provide a list.
So, Director Harrigan, what's the process for the state, for DOT to, investigate this, inform us? Have they told us anything?
No, I mean this is an ongoing process. We have I think we have a follow-up meeting with them at the end of the month. They're working with a consultant. And we'll know more as we know more, but we don't really have a lot of information yet.
And if we provide some type of guidance on what we want on the state property, is that something they will take into consideration?
I assume so.
Right now, we don't really have very much guidance, do we?
This hasn't been an adversarial exchange with the state.
No,
They're just interested in finding out information.
no, but
They,
right now, we've got a TOD study that we never adopted. So the guidance.
we did adopt our TOD study.
We adopted the study, but we don't have text amendments for the study. Is that correct?
Well, applicants have adopted some of those regulations in part. We have a little bit further to go for sure.
That's kind of where I'm going, is if we get ahead and create a vision of what we want, or work collaboratively with the state, then we will have input. If we don't do anything, then we won't.
I would say they're looking to understand what the towns are looking to
We want.
see developed around their train stations, but
Yeah. And if we say we don't want anything, then there's a possibility we can get overridden. Possibility.
But we have to opt in.
I can't speak for the state of Connecticut.
Right, but if they got the right to override local zoning, and we don't tell them what we want, and there's an agreement that there's a housing shortage, I know that's disputed by some, but we will be reacting rather than laying out our vision for the town.
I would say yes. I mean, listen, I think TOD is very exciting to a lot of folks within the community. And, this has been something that, it has been my experience in working on the POCD, working on the TOD study, that folks are very excited about the opportunity for more housing within proximity of transit and downtown. And so I don't think that these are bad things to consider, either by the state or by us here locally in Fairfield.
I have a question. Are we telling them so far what we want, or how does that take place? How and when do we tell the state what we do want? And when does that take place in this process that you're involved in right now?
That's our zoning ordinance and our zoning map.
I'm asking Ms. Harrigan.
Right,
if
but that's what a zoning ordinance is.
Can I
Our
ask-
vision.
I'm asking a question. I'd like to complete my question. And it's not to you, it's to Ms. Harrigan. at what point do we tell them what we do want? It sounds like they're taking some input, not just information.
I mean, they're asking us what our zoning regulations say. So, you know, again, this has been something that has been, you know, done with staff at this point. They're not reaching out to commissions. They're reaching out during the day, during staff time, you know, business hours. So
Are they asking what we want to see happen on the state land? And if so, how do we
they
give
haven't
them our?
gotten that specific yet. You know, this is.
Okay. Well, I would suggest that we don't provide any information without our commission discussing it in terms of what we do want to see there.
FairTV.
Respectfully, we have a POCD, and the way planning in the United States works is you have a plan and then you have zoning ordinances and you have a zoning map. We have told, as a commission, everyone what we want through our action or inaction on our zoning ordinances. Our inaction on our zoning ordinances tells everyone publicly, whether they're developers or government agencies, what we want.
So in that POCD, and I shared a copy with you, there's a proposal to rezone St. Thomas Aquinas Catholic School. Now, that's not something I want to see done. And I don't think that we should be signaling to developers that we want a prime parcel downtown that's currently a thriving Catholic elementary school to be rezoned into something that could be apartments down the road, multi-family, multi-use, middle housing, whatever it is. So, you know, although we have,
Changes. It's the changes to the,
yes, and for some reason, St. Thomas Aquinas Catholic School is on the map to, you know, as a potential rezone. So
housing is allowed there now.
housing is allowed on the school property currently?
Yep. Everything is residentially zoned. Oh, it's right there.
Yes, but it's from A to B. So you're essentially saying that you're changing it from one zone to the next, a multi-family.
There are, I think, multiple.
Single
consider-
family
There are
now.
multiple considerations. There are at least two potential ways to address both that and other surrounding sites. And one of which would be potentially extend the center design business district. The other being to just make changes to the center design district. And there are multiple options that commission could consider both. I guess technically it could do both. But I think there are lots of recommendations in the POCD that will never get done. Some because we won't get to them, some because the commission will decide it doesn't want to do them. I think most of the vast majority of the recommendations that are in the POCD are, for better or worse, to study or consider things and not actually to do them. There are very few recommendations.
But we don't have any studies that we're even considering.
POCD is a study. And there's as a commission, we've been reacting. 2 years I've been on the commission. And so studying things through the TOD, which is what our staff is focused on right now, is a prime area to focus on. And so we do, and I'm glad this commission does want to study more things. The POCD is a framework. It's not a law and it's not prescriptive. It's a direction. Our zoning ordinances are a framework. Our zoning map is a framework. So what we as a commission want and what we approve is in the zoning ordinance until we change it. So if we want to change it, we have to focus on what we want, build a consensus around it, engage the community. And there's certain things we have to change because 8002.
Which is what we need, I think we need.
Right, and we have
help with.
time, we've got time to do that. And the staff is working on that, but there's nothing we need to do immediately, but it would probably be helpful to understand what our timeframes are to implement 8002 changes so they don't get forced on us.
And what the staff is working on.
Yeah, and I think it's a sliding scale, which is a big part of what I've been saying is that I think we can structure this in the right way because there are certain provisions that don't really impact us until 2028, 2029. And so I don't think it makes sense to we don't necessarily need to give everything equal weight now. So I think something that comes into effect in July needs a greater level of attention and discussion right now than something that we don't have to adopt until 2029. And frankly, you know, the housing growth plans, one of the options is, do we do our own? Do we adopt the COGS, the COG? We're not, I mean, that we're not going to see what they come up with to make a determination about whether or not we want to adopt theirs or adopt our own anytime soon. Probably not before 2028. So that's all I'm saying is I think there are lots of
When do we
components to this.
study our commercial properties? To say what we want to protect in terms of, you know, our parking lots. Where's the 8% that we can essentially?
What I suggest last time, and I think if we, you know, we'll have the bill on our February planning meeting. And
Is it a specific date?
I'm sorry,
Is it that we have? a
that's the specific to have the bill on the agenda. That's different than, you know, than committing the attorney to be there
Right,
to
right, right.
present it in depth. But we'll have a discussion about the bill. And I think there's a way to structure a conversation where we're directing the commission to give feedback that's actually useful and that can then inform more in-depth conversations. I don't think it's productive, for example, for anyone on this commission to start drafting or redlining or do anything like that right now. If you keep mentioning, rightly so, the conservation exclusion areas for the parking component. I may or may not have said this last time. I think an example of a productive way to move this conversation forward is that's a core component of that provision. Taking the temperature of the commission on what general zones do you think, does each commissioner think is worth looking at for consideration as, you know, part of these zones? And you may get 7 different answers. You may get, you know, consensus around a couple of places. And then that, I think, gives some direction to staff to help structure a conversation that starts picking through the details of, you know, our questions, concerns, wants, all
Who
that.
decides if we're opting in or not,
We do.
and when?
To which part? The TOD part? I think when we're ready to. I mean, I think there was a provision that had to do with if we approved the TOD by January, or something like that, then we qualify for funding without having to be certified as a transit-oriented community. That obviously didn't happen. So I think we have some time to, you know, formalize our TOD zones. And then there's, you know, as far as the housing growth fund eligibility goes. Kathy, you could just jump in.
Okay, so I see a multi-layered approach that we need. We need deadlines. When we were here, the last couple of meetings, we were told every provision of the whole law was already in effect, when in actuality, there are multiple parts that are not in effect yet. So we need those deadlines quickly, and I think we need a formal request to our town attorney to give us that information and to come and give us a primer. And honestly, I don't know how the chairman and our director are going to give information to the general public at a forum when we don't even have the information yet ourselves. We don't know. We're getting different versions of when things are due.
I don't know. Then my answer is going to be, I don't know.
I believe 2 portions become effective on July 1st. So our next planning meeting is not till the 3rd week of February. And if we have no idea if we're going to hear from the town attorney on what our options, what our duties are, then we're wasting another month. So I think we have to figure out what provisions go into effect by July. And if I'm well aware that the housing plan is not due for several years. That's not a concern right now. But if there's stuff that's due in January, that would be the secondary level of concern. So I think we do need to have that very quickly. Otherwise, we're going to get in trouble, because to figure out what the two 4% zones will be to protect from the parking provision, the anti-parking provision. That's going to take some studying. That's information. It's not just opinions. We need to know what parts of town would be more subject to someone wanting to put an apartment building up to 16 units that we wouldn't be allowed to impose parking requirements on. There's some areas where it wouldn't matter, some areas it would matter. So that's going to take time to collect that information, which when I asked last time, our staff was not working on it. I don't know if they're aware that we might want to, but we have to give direction to our staff. We can't expect them to just draft regulations that we haven't given them direction on. We can't give direction until we hear from the town attorney on what our options are. So that's the sort of phased approach I think we have. Let's hear from the town attorney. Let's come up with what we want to do. And then our staff will know what to do. I still don't know what regulations our staff is working on our behalf. I'd like to know that now.
I happen to be, look, while I think there's value in having an attorney walk us through certain things, I don't think it takes an attorney to read what deadlines are in a bill. I have full confidence in our staff to be able to discern when certain deadlines are. You don't need a JD to do that. I don't.
Well, our staff told us everything was already in effect, and now it's not in
I
effect.
disagree
So
with that. That was not my hearing.
I heard it twice.
Well, what's in effect is the law was passed, but the provisions of the law are not, the compliance dates are rolling. Everything doesn't have to be complied with day one.
Right.
There are things that have timing that are earlier than others.
Right.
And I'm laughing because an attorney is telling us to hire an attorney when non-attorneys are saying we don't need to hire an attorney. So,
I informed our commission of those deadlines. Our staff did not, just FYI.
pardon?
I didn't hear that either. She said she informed the commission of the deadlines that the staff didn't.
I would like our town attorney to inform us of our options and our deadlines.
Yeah, I think that's a reasonable request for us to understand what the deadlines are under 8002. That's a super reasonable request, and I think, we will. Can we ask staff to?
I already have.
Okay.
Have you had meetings with staff about this bill already?
I've had a conversation with Emmeline suggesting that we have our next planning meeting touch on this, and essentially outlined the same suggestion I just said here, which is the approach that I think would be most productive.
I would like to give a quote from Tim Hollister. He's a preeminent land use attorney that has come before our commission. I believe he works on lobbying. He wrote this about this housing law. So the new act did not receive any public hearings or review of its wording. As a result, the act contains errors, misstatements, and several provisions that are conflicting with existing law and create impossible standards. We need an attorney to dissect this law and tear it apart. It's a very confusing law that a lot of people I've spoken to that study this for a living don't really know exactly how it's going to work.
Okay.
Do you agree or disagree?
I've already made my position pretty clear. I'm not sure. I feel like we've been talking in circles at this point. We're going to have continue conversations as a commission. We'll have we'll give the attorney. I'm not sure what more there is to add to that. I hear your points.
OCR report or OCR study or OCR, whatever she had mentioned.
OLR.
I'm happy to forward that tomorrow. I've had the flu for the last, 4 days. I'm sorry, I haven't been able to get it to you since last Tuesday's meeting.
Recording stopped.
Good night.